The people in the private Facebook group are the only ones that know that for the last week, I've been in bed with an incredibly bad pulled back. I was having a glorious beach day last Sunday, like glorious. We have friends out here that we really, really like. We're hanging out with them. We got the whole beach set up. Some days we just throw an umbrella down there and go, swim and we come back. But other days we set up all nice. I was sitting in a really shitty beach chair, and I kind of knew that my back was unstable in this beach chair. It was one of these beach chairs that is really, really low to the sand. You're pretty much sitting on the sand. But the problem for me, because I have 2 herniated discs, I've had them for at least 25, 30 years at this point. I don't know a life without back problems. Because there was no real lower back support as I'm sitting in the sand looking at my rod and watching my kids swim and listening to tunes and having a couple beers. My back is just compromised, and it's just poking out the back of the beach chair like this. And my back is like just poking out. And I knew it was problematic. I'm like, shit. But, I've been doing a lot of yoga and stretching. I should be all right. And I'm getting up a lot to stretch and make sure it doesn't lock down. Long story short, we end our glorious beach day. It was absolutely awesome. And then it was time to grill. So doing the grilling. And as I'm doing that, I go to my wife, this fucking back wants to pull out. My back wants to pull out. So I get on the ground as I'm grilling. I'm on my belly trying to do stretches, anything I can do to prevent this thing from pulling out. Because when it wants to pull out, there's very little you can do. So we get done with dinner. I go upstairs to take a shower, and I still feel the back. It's just doing this to me. I didn't do anything that made the back pull out. It was just trying to pull out on its own. So I take a shower. I come back downstairs. I'm hanging out with the family. And all of a sudden I went, oh no. And sure enough, the back said, F you, and just and pulled dramatically. I fell to the ground immediately in extreme pain. Excruciating pain, and I was able to get my body to the couch and lay on my back. And then I whispered to my wife, I'm like, oh my God, I can't move. I literally can't move. It was one of the worst back pulls of my life. I'm like, I can't move. She goes, what do you mean you can't move? I'm like, if I move a centimeter, any part of my body, it was extreme pain. Excruciating, I want to use. So long story short, for the next 24 hours, I laid on the couch like this on my back, couldn't get a pillow under my head because even that would be excruciating pain. And I had to just stay in the same position for 24 straight hours. I go to my wife, I say, this one is so bad, I got to go to the hospital. Yeah, there you go. John Courts knows I have a herniated disc as well. Constant pain, torture to do anything. Yeah, when it happens, man, you can't even lift your arm over your head. Like I can. But anyway, I didn't want to scare the kids, but I kind of started whispering to my wife. I'm like, I got to go to the hospital. This is really, really bad. I need traction or something, She goes, you want any painkillers? And I'm like, no. My whole life when I pulled my back, I've avoided the painkillers. I understand why people, when their back goes, they just pop painkillers like they're M&Ms, and they stay in bed for a week before they even attempt to, try to get the back together. So I said to the wife, man, I got to get to the hospital. And then I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm trying to move just a little bit to get comfortable. Like I'm just kind of doing this motion, just trying to get my back comfortable. And even that was excruciating pain. So then the thought went through my head. I'm like, and this is what I would love to talk to people about, especially in the medical community, our first responders. My back was pulled so bad that I was pretty much frozen on the couch for 24 straight hours. Even if I moved a centimeter, it was excruciating pain. It was at least a 10, like a 10 that just simply wouldn't go away. I'm like, how are they going to get me to the hospital? So they come to my house because I wouldn't be able to get in a car or drive. I would have to get on one of those boards. That's how bad it was. I go to my wife. I'm like, how the fuck are they going to get in this house with a board, get the board under my back without me literally having a nervous breakdown from the pain? And then I'm like, how are they going to get me out of the house? We have a lot of stairs that lead down to the, the road in front of the house here. Then they're going to get me in an ambulance. And then they're going to sleep on flat surfaces sorts out a bad back. Soft mattresses will F you up. You're 100% right about that, sir. And then they'll get me in an ambulance, and then I'm going to feel every bump to the hospital. And then all I want to do is be alone. And then they're going to put me in a dumb hallway somewhere because, I don't have to explain to you. Anyone that's been to a hospital in the last, 50 years understands that if you're not bleeding to death, they're just going to put you somewhere and make you sit for a half a day. So I'm like, there's no way I could get to the damn hospital. I'm like, they would have to come here, knock me out with some amazing drug to completely numb the back just to get me there. And then I know what's going to happen because I kind of know what's going on. They're going to go, oh, yeah, you pulled your back. You got, obviously herniated disc. They slipped a little bit. Here's some medication because that's what we like to do in America is just throw medication at everything. And then they're literally going to say, okay, you can go home now. And then I'm going to have to get in a car and come all the way back here. So I'm like, you know what? The hospital is a waste of time. So the whole goal was to get me off the couch. That took over a day to try to figure out how I could get off the couch. And then I went for it. And the couch is right below me. I'm one story up, not a lot of stairs. This is where, this is our bedroom. I'm not going to show you where the magic happens, but this is our bedroom. I'm like, just get me upstairs. I just want to lay in a bed by myself and try to figure this shit out. So it took over a day. We finally got a plan. You can't lift me or anything like that. People with back problems understand. You can't touch the person that has a bad back. They got to do it all on their own. So I rolled off the couch and thump, hit the floor. That made me cry. The kids, obviously, we put them somewhere else in the house so they didn't see Daddy in such a state. And then I'm on the floor and using all my upper body strength, I was able to kind of get to my knees. And then I was able to get to a chair. All this excruciating 10 out of 10 pain. But I'm like, all right, just deal with it and get upstairs. Do you know it took an hour to get from the couch downstairs to the bedroom up here and get in bed? And I was using chairs and we were using broom handles and I was just doing everything I can. And every step was just excruciating pain. We got upstairs. Just getting in this bed is a little higher up. That's a story in itself. And then I proceeded to lay in this room for the last 5 days. I just started moving around only about 2 days ago. Couldn't sleep for the first 48 hours. The first 24 on the couch downstairs, flat on my back with no pillow. Couldn't move an inch. I stayed like that for 24 hours. And then when I was able to get up here, another 24 hours in bed without a minute of sleep. Oh, I wanted to sleep, but the pain was unbearable. And then I was just trying to move. And when I say try to move, I'm talking maybe try to move an inch to get a little more comfortable. And I just stared at the ceiling. And I was able to kind of use my phone, kind of. So I went on Twitter to see what everyone was saying about me. No. So I kind of was able to use my phone. So I went on YouTube to start looking up videos on bad backs. How can you fix a bad back? What kind of stretches you could do in bed? I looked at Bob and Brad's fine YouTube channel. For the people that have been with me for a while, they saved my life when my back blew out when I had a wonderful trip to Disney with my whole extended family. That's on the podcast if you want to check it out. You got to go back a while, but I was checking out Bob and Brad videos and some other videos, and some chiropractor from Illinois turned out to be a lifesaver. And so then in the middle of the night, because I can't sleep, this was probably the third day. I've lost track of days. Probably about the third day. I'm like, all right, you got to fight through this pain. So I'm just up here in bed like this with the phone, holding it up so I can see it, looking up stretches and slowly stretching and trying to get some space in between these discs. And I'm icing the back, and my lovely daughter's coming up, and she's like putting all sorts of stuff on my back, heat and ice and heating pads. And long story short, that's why I haven't been around. The back pulled out so bad that I was in bed pretty much for a week. Like I said, the last 2 days, sort of walking up and down the stairs and hanging with the family and kind of getting some normalcy back. But even as I sit here, you can see me leaning. I'm just leaning because it still hurts a lot. The pain is probably down to a 4. I would say about a 4, but I could kind of stand and walk. And I'm continuing to stretch and do exercises that hopefully will bring this back back. So when the back pulled and I knew I couldn't move for 24 hours, I'm like, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom in the next 24 hours. I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. And that was my biggest fear. I'm like, how do I go number 2 with a very bad back? Like I explained with the number 1, I had to go cup. This is real life for the people. I like talking about this stuff because I'm not the only one that has to, go through some of this stuff. And I have no problem admitting it. I had to go cup. But the number 2, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? I'm going to make in my pants because I can't move. So the anxiety of worrying, and then my stomach starts like gurgling and I can't move. I'm like, oh my God, how many more hours can I hold out? I am proud to say that I was able, with a lot of effort, to get from this bed down the hall to a bathroom to make on my own. And I even got the wipe in. I figured out how to get in a position where I could use my left arm. I couldn't go right. I had to go left. And I got the job done, thank God. Because could you imagine? I would have to tell my wife that I just made in my pants in our bed. Are you kidding me? You don't come back from that. But I think a higher power, I will say, was looking out for the kid and said, look, you're in a lot of pain, but you don't worry. You're going to make on your own. You're going to walk yourself down that hall. Oh, it's going to take probably 20 minutes to go 15 feet, but you're going to get to that turlet and you're going to make on your own. And you're never going to have to tell your wife that you made in your pants in your bed. Thank you, higher power. Oh.
Opie Radio.